Finally.
Hi again. Hi everyone. It's really nice meeting you again. And today I'm hosting Keshav and his wife Nicole, and we are going to talk about relationships in Indian families. I'm sure there would be a lot of questions for you, so you have to be ready for that. And let's start. And I would like to ask you to introduce yourself a little bit. Where are you from? What do you do? So that our listeners know you a little bit better. And let's start with Nicole. Ladies first.
Okay, so hi, I am Nicole. I am from Austria, Vienna, and I am currently an undergrad student. I'm doing my undergrad in education, and I have a lovely Indian husband
I can see
who
that.
I'm going to be moving in with very, very soon. So I'm going to move to US in about 17 days, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's great. Congratulations. Finally, you would be together.
Yes. Finally, after 4 years, yes, thankfully. Yes.
And for myself, I'm Keshav. I'm actually finishing my PhD here, so I'll be becoming a professor in a couple of months. I am from India. I moved to the US in 2018. Um, and yeah, generally live like I've been fortunate enough to live in different parts of India as well, and then for a year in Europe in 2000. So I really like traveling around and exploring new places. So, yeah.
Yes, I can see that. And my next question, because you are from Austria, you lived in US. How did you guys meet? Can you please share your beautiful love story with us?
Do you want to do it or should
You do it.
You can
Okay.
say something if you like.
So basically, when he applied for his PhD, he had like a few months to spare before it started. So he decided to do a Euro trip. And I don't know if you know those apps, Couch Surfer.
Yes, yes, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we basically met on Couch Surfer. Like I was offering him, showing him around the city, and yes, he accepted that. And then we walked, what?
No, continue.
And we walked around the city, and yes, that's when it happened. That's when we fell in love.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
really
my whole plan was that like when I generally go on a solo trip, I don't really like going to touristy places. Like I'll not probably go to Paris. I would rather visit like a village in France where I can get to meet local people, local cuisines and things like that. And I've realized that rather than going around with tour guides, uh, finding local people who really know local stuff and local nooks and corners is way better exploring, like to explore a city. So like that was one of the best ways of actually seeing the city or seeing the country than actually going there on a package tour and then a tour guide taking you to like just those 10 places, stuff like that. So yeah.
yes. Yeah, me too. I prefer to see some really unknown places because when I tell someone I'm living in Netherlands, people say, "Oh, Amsterdam! It's such a lovely city." I say, "I live 17 kilometers from Amsterdam, but I never go there." There are so many nice places which you don't even know. Yes,
Yeah.
people only want to see some very touristic places, but they don't care about other things which are more interesting, I guess. But how did you end up in Vienna? It's a very touristic place.
Oh yeah, so I actually was not going to go to Vienna. I was planning, so I landed in Prague, and from Prague I was going to go to Budapest, and I was skipping Vienna. But when I showed that itinerary to my parents, my dad was like, "I've been to Vienna, and like Vienna is a very pretty place, and you should definitely try that out." So in my entire plan, I squeezed in Vienna for like one day. I'm like, okay, I'll just go there for a day. I'll just quickly see the city and then just leave. And that's where, like, when I met her, then she showed me around. We had a good day, and then because it's so easy to kind of change your plan in Europe, like because I used to take Flixbus, and Flixbus is like €5, and you just change the tour. So I just planned to keep coming back to Vienna to meet her like 2-3 times while I was there, and then it just seemed like there's some sort of connection that was there between us, and when I moved to US eventually, she came over as well to like help me with things like moving in and stuff like that. So that kind of strengthened the entire bond as well, that, it's something serious. It's not just like a pass and go thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was,
So
yeah.
you found your love. See, you didn't want to go to Vienna, but it was a destiny
Yeah.
which brought
Yeah.
you there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I would like to ask both of you, how fast did you understand that this is the person with whom I want to spend the rest of my life, and which qualities impressed you the most? What did you like the most in your husband?
I'm a big romantic person, so I tend to like fall in love kind of quite easily. But like usually it was like a come and go thing with like previous boyfriends. But when I met him, like I knew maybe not on the first day, maybe it wasn't that quick. But like the second or third time we met, I was so in love with him already that I knew that has to stay. And what I like about him the most is he will taunt me forever now that I say that in front of other people. But he is the funniest person I know.
Wow. Because she'll hardly laugh at my jokes and she'll be like, "You're not funny enough."
That's nice because
No,
I think it's very important when men have a good sense of humor. Yeah. I
yeah,
like
and he brings out the best in me. Like he always pushes me to be a better version of myself, and he's also very loving and kind. So, yes.
And what
Yeah.
about you?
For me, like my thing was when I was going to Europe, there was zero chance of me wanting to fall in love. Like I didn't go to Europe thinking that, I want to find a person I want to date. But like when we started talking, it was like everything was flowing very smoothly. It was like I didn't have to make her explain things, and she didn't have to make me explain things. There was like a very quick chemistry that just popped up. And I generally, I like independent people who, can take care of themselves as well, because, in a relationship, if one person is just taking care of the other, then it becomes like a burden. So, a person should be strong enough to take care of themselves, and then, you help each other out. So it's like I heard a saying where it said relationship is not 50-50, it's 100-100, because you give in your best and the other person gives in their best, and that's how it works. But that's what I saw when I met her. There was an incident where we were at a tram station, and there was
It
some
was a metro station.
metro station, and there was a guy on the other side who was completely drunk, and I think he threw a can of beer at us, and he was just shouting and saying things in German that I couldn't understand. And she started fighting back, like she started shouting back and like telling him to like shut up and stuff like that. So it was like for me that was like the Bollywood moment, like the hair flying back and stuff like that. I'm like, this is amazing. Like if a person can like stand up for themselves and all that, so those were the things that kind of clicked. So then I think for me as well, I think by the second or third date itself, we were like, probably there's going to be something, and let's start a relationship, knowing that it's going to be long distance. So I think it started off with like a trial phase. Let's see whether it's going to work or not. But I think even through video calls, everything was working pretty well. So yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm so happy to hear this type of stories, yeah, with happy endings, yeah, because I can imagine how difficult it is to have a long distance relationship. Yeah, and it needs a lot of understanding, patience, everything together, I think.
Yeah.
And I would like to ask both of you, did you ever think that you would be married to a foreigner? Yes. And Nicole, were you interested in Indian culture before you met Keshav? Did you know something about India?
So, to the first question, I actually never thought I would marry a foreigner. Vienna and Austria in general is like a very, like, people are very, like, amongst themselves. So it's a very big thing if someone marries a foreigner. So I was not, like, that was not in my vision at all. But I did know, like, bits and pieces of the Indian culture because I have a friend who's Indian as well. But, I mean, he was born in India but grew up in Austria, so he's like,
Oh,
not the most Indian person, you know.
yeah.
But I knew like a couple things, yes.
So you were not really interested, right? Some girls are really interested in Indian culture so much. They're watching Indian. I think, I don't know about Austria, but in Germany, Indian movies are very popular. Many girls are dancing Bollywood dances and all these things.
Not really, no. No, I did not know that much about Indian culture, no. That started once I dated him. Like I think within the first week, I have already seen like 3 Bollywood movies, something like that. And yeah, then
Yeah.
I started to like really get into it.
And
But
what about you, Keshav? Did you ever thought that your wife would be from
no,
somewhere outside of India?
no. So in fact, like my thing, whenever I've dated other people as well, it's always been the personality. Like if the personality looks good to me, I've just dated them. So, um, like the whole like in India also there is still that stigma about marrying or dating a person at least from the same religion or probably from the same casteism is still there. Like people say
Yeah.
that it's not there, but it's there. So I personally have never had like I've never looked at a person based on where they come from. It's generally been like if the personality matches. So it's like a joke in our family as well. Like the kind of people I've dated have been from all religions. Like in India, we say Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, and I have dated all of them technically, and it's never been like a reason to uh, think that I really want to be with a, let's say, an Indian Hindu or a Indian Muslim or a European or American. It's never been that. So with, as I said, like when I went to Europe as well, I had zero intentions of getting married or finding a person to date as well. So again, the personality clicked, and regarding Austria, I think the only knowledge I had was Sound of Music, and that was about it. And apparently, people in Austria hate that. Like, if I tell them about, oh, Sound of Music, that's like the most cliche thing. Like, when people talk about India, they're
Nobody
like,
in Austria has ever seen Sound of Music.
yeah,
I don't know any person who has seen Sound of Music.
yeah, which is surprising because that's what brought Austria on the map. They were like, oh, Sound of Music, that's like, but then yeah, it's the same thing. Like when I tell them about Sound of Music, it's very similar to when people look at me and they're like, "Oh, you're from India, Taj Mahal." I'm like, "That's not the entire India," and I can understand that because that's what I can see in their faces. They're like, "That's not the entire Austria you're talking about." So yeah, so I had barely any knowledge of Austria. Definitely Germany because I think Austria kind of gets undershadowed by Germany in a way. So I knew
The
much
little
about
sibling of Germany.
yeah, so I knew stuff about Germany, not about Austria. In fact, it's been a pleasant surprise because the more we have been together, the more we have like looked at each other's culture, like taken a lot of from it. Like I love the beers they have over there. I have not like I hate the beers in US right now. Like I'm like I need Stiegel, which is like the Austrian beer, and then generally, I think even for our Austrian wedding, like I made sure that we were wearing Dirndl and Lederhosen, which is like their traditional dress. So it's been like the whole journey is about probably, probably even if it's not accepting the other person's culture, it's more of getting to know what the other person's culture is and kind of slowly accepting it and just moving into it.
Yeah, that's true. And I would like to ask about your first impression about Austria. How did you like it there? How did you feel? Because I went to Austria a few times. I think I went to Salzburg, Innsbruck, and Vienna. And to be honest, I think I like Salzburg the most. Yeah, out of all three. Yeah, it's a little, I prefer small cities. I'm from a very big city. I'm from Moscow. But
Mhm.
now I think with time, with age, I started to appreciate the beauty of small places. I don't like this megapolises too much anymore because I'm getting tired. They're too big for me. So,
Yeah.
how did you like Austria? What did you see there?
Um, So it's the same with me. Like, I think Nicole, it's the same with you as well, right? Like, we decided to kind of finally move into a place which is not like a big town, big city, probably a big town to a medium-sized town. Like, like I personally like nature, and you can go out and go on treks, and at night, if you look up, you can see stars. Like, you're not seeing a black sky because of light pollution. So yeah, so
Right.
when I went to Vienna as well, specifically, it was primarily Vienna that I kept visiting. I loved the general city life as such because again, I was there as a tourist, not really living there. Uh, I didn't really interact much with people. Yeah, people are warm. At least the friends and the family, they were like really warm. Whenever I've gone and met them, um, like we've kind of it's been like either it's wanting to know about my culture or general talks about what's happening around the world, what our life's plans are. So warm people. But as I said, like I prefer smaller places. And when we got married in Vienna, my family had also come over, and my uncle, like my dad's elder brother, he actually works for a company that's based out of Austria, and their head office is in a city called Klaus, which is uh, quite close to the Swiss, Liechtenstein, and German border. So he actually asked whether we want to go there as well because they were heading that way. So we were like, yeah, sure. I think we went there for like 3 days, 4 days, or something like that.
I think it was longer, wasn't it? Like a week?
Yeah, probably. So we were there, and that was like amazing. Like it was I think it was a town of like 2,000 people. Like as that would be the maximum, and you could
It was
basically
very
see.
small.
Yeah, and you could see the mountain ranges where you could literally point out that this is Liechtenstein, that's Germany, and that's Switzerland. So you could, and then one day we just drove into Switzerland, and then from Switzerland we drove into Germany as well, I think, uh, or Liechtenstein. We did go
First,
to we did go
yeah.
to a city in Germany.
Yeah, but from Switzerland we went to Liechtenstein, and then the next
Yeah,
day
yeah.
we went to Germany.
So yeah, so exactly. So that was like the beauty of. In fact, that's one of the beautiful things about Australia, about Europe, that you can just there are no that's I mean that uh, ultimate scene of the world that we talk of, that we need porous borders, there should be no borders, like that's what Europe seems like, because they're so porous, you just go into another country. In fact, I keep telling this story to everyone. When I was in Europe for the first time, I was actually trekking in a town called Poronini in Poland, that's south of Poland, and I was using T-Mobile network service, and I kept walking. I was basically trekking into the forest, and suddenly my network went away, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And then I saw this small hut, which was like a bread and breakfast, and I went to the person, and I'm like, my network went away. He's like, where are you coming from? I said, Poronini. He's like, oh, you have entered Slovakia right now, so. If you want to go back to Poland, take that route. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I'm in Slovakia. So
Yeah,
that's like,
that's what I like about Europe, that you can easily travel anywhere you want. You can sit in your car in 1 hour, I'm in Germany, or in two
yeah,
hours, I'm in Belgium. So it's so easy to travel here, and there are no borders. Of course, you don't
yeah,
need to show your passport all the time. I can't
yeah,
do the same in Russia because it's a huge country. I think in 1 hour I would be in the other end of Moscow. So it's not possible to travel like that. Yeah, that's the beauty of Europe.
yeah, definitely. It's like I think that's why that was the whole vision of Angelina Merkel, which was about creating EU, which is kind of like a country in itself, right? Because if you look at India, all states have their own culture, own language. So you
Yeah.
can call India as Europe, and all states as each country of Europe. So,
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
That's what I say, that each state is like a separate country because
yeah,
it's totally different. Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. So your first impression about Austria was positive. So what did you like the most about this country?
Uh, people.
Except your wife, of course.
I thought you were going to say beer.
Beer, yeah, beer as well. But I mean, the beer actually falls into this bigger umbrella of people actually enjoying their life. In India, we are trained to struggle to reach a place where we can enjoy life, but life is never good enough for you to actually enjoy. It's always like, I want to get better at something, and there's always competition. So people are constantly running behind something they want to achieve. And I think they actually start relaxing once they are retiring, which is like you have ended like 60 years of your life just struggling and running. What I saw in Austria, which initially was very startling to me because I've never seen people not competing, not doing, like, striving for better. They're like, we are happy. Like, we just want to have a beer at 4 p.m. and sit and talk and read a paper in the sun. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, it took me a day or two probably to get around it. But I'm like, yeah, why are we running around? Like, when life is like, you get one life, you better enjoy it. And that's what I saw in Austrians a lot, that people know how to, like, not make work their life, but work to live in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's what I hear from other girls about India, that they always change because in India people are not in a hurry anyway. They know how to relax, they know how to enjoy life. But you think that Austrian people are like that,
I
that they're
think,
more
yeah.
relaxed than Indians.
I think it could also be probably because when I was growing up, like I took the engineering exam, which is like, I think 200,000 or 500,000 people take that, and only like 30,000 get selected. So there's like major competition. That I think there have been studies which have said that the acceptance rate of Indian institutes is way lower than Harvard as well. So it's difficult to get into Indian institutes compared to Harvard. So I mean, because there's been so much competition, I don't remember much of my class 11th and 12th where what did I do? I was mostly probably studying, which doesn't seem that prominent if I look at Austrians, right? You guys are not struggling and killing yourselves in 11th, 12th. Yeah, so we are like, because, yeah,
Yeah,
and
in India you have to study a lot. Yeah, from the childhood, I think from age 3, you have to study,
exactly. Yeah,
continuously study.
yeah. And it's
I don't
generally,
like it, to be honestly. I think kids should enjoy childhood. It's already too short. Yeah,
exactly. And it's always like, I think while you're ending school, like there is a 10th class board exam where you again have to study really well uh, to put it on your report card, which others will see probably. And then 11, 12, it's all about, you have chosen your stream now. Now work harder because you need to get into a good college. Once you get into a good college, then work harder to get good grades, to get a good job. Then you get into the job, then you have to struggle hard to get promotion, which is like you're just running behind something. That's what I generally saw in India. So,
yeah, exactly.
um,
That's
yeah.
true. I heard it from many people, yeah, and I knew a lot of Indians. My husband always told me the same thing. Yes, yeah, that's a pity, I would say, yeah, but it's a huge population, yeah, so of course.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a lot of people from India who move to Europe, I think fall in love with Europe primarily for this reason that, they don't have to go crazy and work so hard. So yeah.
Exactly, yes. And I would like to ask, what was the reaction of your families when you told them that you want to marry? How did your family react, Nicole, when even you said that you're going to marry an Indian?
I mean, my family was, I'm very open with my family, so they knew our first, like when I went on a first date with them, they knew that. I talked to them about everything. So it did not come to a surprise, as a surprise to them when I told them, yeah, we're going to get married. Actually, I was very, I was very excited about getting married even before he asked me to get married. So I was constantly like telling my parents that, oh, that would be a nice wedding dress, that would be a nice wedding ring. So I think I don't know, it was not a surprise for them.
So they supported your choice, actually. They didn't have any
Definitely.
problem.
They always support every choice I make.
Yeah. And I
Yes.
think
And
I had met
obviously they met him. Sorry?
same thing, what you were saying. Yeah. I'd
And
met
they
him.
met him before and they really like him, so it was easy to accept and support that choice.
And what about your family? Because I know in India there are so many, I would say, conservative families who would never allow their sons to marry someone outside India. Even it should be not only outside India, but it should be the same caste. It's
Mm.
like so many criteria which should actually click. So
Yeah.
how did your family reacted on that
I
fact?
think I think I was fortunate enough to have parents who always, since I was a kid, not since I was a kid, since I was in a state where I wanted to start dating people, told me that always like we want you to be with someone who you want to be happy with. That's it. Like find someone that you will be happy with, and that's about it. So that's why when I dated people from all other religions as well, they never questioned it. They were like, if it's good, then go ahead with it. In fact, they used to joke about it as well, saying that, oh, now we'll have to have a nikah for you because when I was dating a Muslim, for example, so they were like, oh, now it'll be a Hindu and a Muslim wedding. So they have always been open. So when I finally told them that I am dating her and she seems like a person that I really want to be with and marry, they were actually going to go for a Euro trip anyway, and they decided to be like, okay, we'll just go meet her and talk to her. And they met. I think when they met her next day only, they called. They were like, she's a lovely girl, and we really like her. And in fact, when she came here for the first time, when I had moved here to help me move in and set up the house, she actually met my uh, Dadi, which is my father's mother's younger sister. So she had already met. So I think, like, even though my parents didn't know about her, that I'm probably dating her, they probably knew. Like in Indian family, nothing stays with one person. Everything just like spreads everywhere. So probably she
Yeah.
told that, there's a European girl who's come here and she's very sweet. And then my dad was like, who is this person? And I'm like, I'm dating her. So they were extremely. Like I think when they met her as well, they realized that she's a sweet person, and that's what matters. Like even it didn't even matter. Like I know in Indian families, a lot of times it's also about how do we like her. Like does she go along with us? Like it's more of a family, like
Yeah.
parents and that thing. That was also never taught from their side. They were like, you are going to live with her. We are not going to live with whoever you're going to marry. So you should be happy in the end. Like you both should be compatible and good. So that's, I think they knew that I saw that in her and they met her and found her personality really well. So it was very smooth.
Yeah, so you're a lucky person, I would say, because you know how many Indian guys are struggling, and many of them have to leave their families, I would say,
Yeah.
for their love. Yeah, so your parents might be very open-minded
Yeah.
people, not
Yeah.
conservative at all. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
it all comes
especially
down
Hindu
from,
families. I heard especially they have a lot of things which they really care about.
yeah. Yeah. No, but I think that generally comes from because my parents are also not from the same caste or same state. My mother comes from Himachal Pradesh, which is in the mountains. My dad comes from UP. So, like they saw that things infiltrate from their parents. Like their parents were open, because my grandparents basically allowed that marriage to happen without any issues. So it was just something that just went down. So, and I think a lot comes from general societal structures in India as well. Like if you're living in a, if you have all friends around you who are believing that my kid should get married to a person from the same caste, then probably they also think they're like, okay, my friends are saying that, then probably like it's quite hard to break the social norms if you're living in the societal structure and thriving in it. Uh, so I think generally that that may be playing a role. I don't know. I'm just that's based on my observations. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I think so. And how long did you, let's say, date each other before you got married?
Yeah,
Three,
3.5 years.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years and 3 months, something like that.
Yes. Okay. And how often did you meet each other during this time?
Well, before COVID hit, we saw each other like 3 times a year for those first 1.5 years. So we quite regularly. Then during COVID, we didn't see each other for
17
17
months.
months. Yeah,
Yeah.
17 months. Yeah, but now since I stopped working last September, so now we've seen each other quite often, to be honest. Like I went to US in September, then we saw each other in December because I went to India, and then again in February.
Oh, wow. You're
Yeah.
like, yeah,
I
So
because
think,
it's
the
difficult.
last phases of the long distance relationship have been very fortunate for us.
yeah,
But we
Yeah.
haven't
while
seen.
while COVID has been unfortunate, it has been fortunate in us getting to meet each other, because what actually happened was, because of that we didn't have to go to work. I could work from home, and Austria was not allowing people to come into Austria because of COVID. There were
Yeah.
certain exceptions, and the exceptions being if you're getting married. So I'm like, I'm getting married, so can I come there? And they were like, yeah, sure. And then I was there for like 2 months. So that was like the longest we probably stayed
3 months.
together. Three
3 months.
months?
Three
You
Yeah.
months.
came in May.
Yeah.
You came in May and you left in August.
Yeah. So that was probably the longest we stayed together as well. So we were just there
Yeah,
for 3 months, and yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So you first got married in Austria and then you went to India and had a traditional Indian wedding.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my question to you, Nicole, what was your impression about India? How did you feel in this country? Because it's a totally different world, I would say. And some people, when they go there for the first time, some people are shocked. Some people are just fell in love with this country, and they this love, I think, stays forever, like it happened with me. But how did you
I
feel that?
I definitely love India. Like the moment I arrived in India, I just fell in love with it. The only thing I did not like were the streets in Agra. That was the only thing I did not like. But apart from that, I really loved everything. I think the people are great. Obviously, his family is the best. I might be biased on this thing, but his family is the best. And I just enjoyed that we were sitting together all the time. Like every day there was some family member coming over. We were going somewhere. And also like the country itself is really it's really different to what it is portrayed as in media in Austria. Like everything we know about India, like in Austria, is like it's a dirty, poor country basically, and that's just not the case at all. Not at all. Like it is so beautiful, and I just love it. I love everything about it.
And how long did you stay in India? Did you travel around? Did you see some other places?
I stayed for about a month, and we went to Agra and to Goa. Did we go somewhere else? No, we were in Delhi. Obviously, we lived in Delhi, and we went to Agra, and then we went to Goa. Goa was definitely like paradise for me. I love the beaches and I love the sea. So it was. I did not want to leave. I told him, "Can we buy a house here and just stay here?"
Yes, but Goa is totally different. I think you can't call it India even. It's more like Europe, or I don't know. It's more like Portugal maybe because it has a lot of similar. Even many people speak Portuguese.
That's true. Yeah.
It was a Portuguese colony. In
Oh yeah,
fact,
a lot of Portuguese come. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I've seen in US, for example, because there are so many people who have come in, which is now happening in Europe, that there is a lot of diversity. And initially there was a lot of resistance. It's still there, where the racism comes in. But then majority of the people have seen so many people from so many different ethnicities that people have just gotten used to the fact that, all of us are one in a way. Europe is seeing that now, and that's where you're seeing that resistance as well, where people are like, get them out, like these are not from our place and stuff like that. In India, that's where I've seen in Goa specifically, because people from foreign places have been there for such a long time.
Yeah.
I know like Russians love Goa. There's like a beach dedicated just for Russians. There's a beach dedicated just for Germans. So people are like, they just come there, and even Indians who
Even
go
the
there,
menus were written in
Russian.
English and Russian.
Yeah.
I
So
think Russians they love Goa. It's their
yeah,
favorite place for sure.
yeah.
Definitely understandable.
Yeah, so that's where, like in India, what I've seen in Goa, for example, like people have accepted the fact that that's a diverse place from all nationalities. Sadly, that's not what I've seen everywhere in India. Like I used to work in Mumbai, and when I used to work in a corporate thing, I saw so much, and the racism isn't just within India. Like it exists within India. Like you're being racist towards, let's say, a person from a lower caste or from South India or whatever.
Yeah.
But that also comes from foreign nationalities. What I've seen is, and I was actually told this by corporate people, which was quite shocking, that a lot of times they hire white people to be part of a meeting from their company, because then that uplifts their company's status in a way. So if they're going to a client, the other client gets impressed that, oh, if white people are part of them, then probably it's a good company. But the other happens when it's like a non-white person, and specifically it comes like I've heard a lot of cases in Bangalore where uh, students who have come from Africa have been like thrashed, beaten, and not given housing. So, I mean, and that's where hypocrisy comes in as well. When we go to US, for example, we say that, we are feeling racist and like we are victims of racism, but then we go back and we kind of do the same thing. So, I
Yeah.
think that kind of acceptance generally, and I think it's a very normal human tendency where people tend to not like foreign people come in, and that will happen in India also. Like if you have foreign people coming in and taking jobs, the first reaction would be get them out. Like this is our place. But I think that understanding starts once it's like a generation later when people are like, okay, this is a good mix. So,
Yeah.
But Goa has that. Goa really has like you can walk in Goa and people from European countries who are there. I met a family. Me and my friend had gone to Gokarna, which is in Karnataka, and there was like a couple with their kid who were from Germany, and they were living there for the past 6 months on the beach on a shack in a shack, because it's
That's
so
super
cheap.
cool.
Yeah, and it looks so cheap because if you're earning in euros, you can go and like live a lavish life in Goa for like 6 months easily.
Yes, yes. Many people do that. They live 6 months in Goa and then they go back to their countries. I just saw a comment that someone wrote that people in Goa, they have dual citizenship with Portugal, and many of them moved to Portugal. That's what I heard. Yeah, I didn't know about dual citizenship, but I know that many of them can move to Portugal easily. So it's
Yeah,
much easier for them.
yeah,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
Portugal
nice
does
experience.
that.
And what about Delhi? I want to ask you, how did you like the city? Because I don't want to offend anyone, but I don't feel comfortable in Delhi. First of all, I always get a lot of attention. Second, it's so polluted that I can't even breathe there. I get some strange cough immediately when I arrive to Delhi. I always feel like something strange is happening with my health. So I didn't like it. And I don't, it's so crowded. It's like you can't move like
I
freely.
mean, we went there when it was still like COVID time, so maybe that kind of reduced the crowd. I don't know. You can
Yeah,
probably.
that's actually true. Yeah. So crowd
Okay,
was low, even pollution was low because there were no cars on
Yes,
the road.
yes. I saw
okay, so
pictures with
maybe that kind of
fire.
clouds my judgment, but I definitely agree with you on the attention thing. I definitely got a lot of attention as well. Like I remember we went to what was it, Khan Market,
Yeah.
and there was this one person at the bus stop who like turned with us while I was walking around just so he could stare at me. But I'm taking that with a lot of humor, to be honest. Like I find that a little funny. But I would probably also not walk around alone
Yeah.
in Italy, probably as a white girl, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think that's that's a general thing for all girls. Like I have a sister, and my parents are always like, "Don't walk around alone at night," and that's like a general thing that's taught to women in Delhi because there is a huge crime rate against women. So yeah,
Yeah, it's not a safe city. The same like all these neighboring states like Haryana, UP, Bihar. They're unfortunately they're not safe for women. Yeah, and
yeah,
I think you shouldn't go out alone when it gets dark after 6 o'clock. Let's say, yeah,
Mm.
probably your sister doesn't go alone. I
and
just
I
try.
mean, I
Yes.
think Nicole had a bad experience in Agra as well, where those people were just taking photos
Yeah,
without
yeah,
asking him.
definitely. We had a we went to Agra with a friend of his, who's an American, and we went where was that? Was that Red Fort?
Yeah. No,
Yeah, so
not
we
Red
went to
Fort.
Red Fort.
Agra Fort. Agra Fort. There's no Red Fort there. Agra Fort.
Oh, sorry, Agra Fort. Sorry. When we went to the fort, there were four guys who were staring at me and that friend. I don't know where you were, Keshav, but like that friend and I were standing there alone, and they were staring at us and like talking, and I just heard them say something like photo, and I just turned around and said no because I didn't want to take a photo with them. So they just followed us, and then they went like past us and tried to take selfies with us in the background. So that was a little uncomfortable, like because it was a lot of people. Like there were four guys, and like if it would have been just one guy, I would have been like whatever, like stupid person. But like four guys, that was a little scary. Yes.
So it happened
But
in Agra. Yes, you said.
yes, but generally, like I think UP, I did not feel that safe in UP.
Yes, yes, that's what I heard. That in Agra there is nothing to see except Taj Mahal. It's not a safe town. I know some girls they studied Hindi there, some Russian girls, and they said that they were afraid to go out like in the evening because people just would just stare at them too much and they got too much attention and they didn't like it at all. So I think it's not really safe there.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, Russia isn't Delhi. Oops.
yeah, and
Sorry.
that's I think general white skin thing that people. I don't know why. Like India has that whole. Probably it came in with colonization and it just stuck around that white people are. But I won't even say colonization because everyone thinks white fairer skin is better skin,
Yeah.
except the fairer people. The fairer people think browner skin is better skin. But
I'm so glad. Like this is me being tanned, and I am so happy that I have a little bit of a color and I'm not as white as the cupboard behind me.
yeah,
Yes, here in Europe we try to be tanned. We go to the beaches, we stay there as long as possible. But in India, everyone is concerned that I have to get my white skin. They sell all this stupid
yeah.
cream. According to me, they are really stupid because
Oh
people
yeah,
should be
definitely.
proud of their skin color. I think
I
there is
think it's
nothing wrong
such
with
a
that.
pretty thing. I really love darker skin. I think it definitely looks way more healthier and more glowing because white skin always looks a little sick. Like
Yes,
I think
some people have very pale, like I would say milk color, so they really look like they're sick or something.
yeah, I generally look like I'm sick.
No, you don't.
I'm super tanned right now, so
Yeah, and in this weather, it's so easy to get that. You just go out, walk a little bit under the sun. Yeah, and you're dead. I
No,
just
but
see one comment, yes, from some Indian guy. He's writing what you also said about Africans. that it's true. I think we Indians should respect African people as we respect white people. That's what I heard, that African people in India, they get attacked and
Yeah,
they
there was
don't
a
treat them very well.
yeah. When I was in Delhi, this was probably before 2018 or something, where in a Delhi metro, like there were a bunch of, I think, two or three African students who were walking, and someone just said that, oh, they stole something. They didn't steal anything, but then the entire crowd in the Delhi metro was literally breaking rods and trying to hit them, and they're trying to like get on top of some wall or something to save themselves, and it was all recorded and it was shared. And uh, that that notion generally, and you see that in US as well. The whole Black Lives Matter movement is all about, this whole stigma. I don't know where it comes from. You see the person, you quickly get more scared, or which you wouldn't with a white skin, for example. But I've seen that. In fact, I find very uncomfortable when uh, Indian people start taking photos with white people without asking, or even like
Even when they're asking, I
even
think
when
it's a
they're
little weird.
yeah. I
Like
mean, I
when
don't.
even in Agra, like we got a lot of questions if people can take photos with us, and I just didn't understand that. Like we're not celebrities, we're not like I don't know supermodels. Why would they want to take photos with us? It would
Yeah,
be so weird if I would walk up to someone here in Vienna and be like, "Can I take a photo with you?" Like
yeah,
it would be like, "Why?"
yeah. And
Yeah,
even if it,
crazy or something. Yeah, I remember one time I never experienced that someone asked to take my picture. Maybe they're scared of my husband. Yeah, but once we went to some, I think it was a mall or something, and we were with our kids. And one guy started taking picture of our kids, and my husband noticed it, and he just went to him and asked, "Why are you taking pictures, and where are you going to use them?" So yeah, no, no, no. I just wanted, they're so cute. I just wanted to take picture just without asking us. And it was really shocking for me. And I know it happens. They never ask. They just come and all of a sudden start and they pretend, okay, we are making selfie, but yeah, and you will be somewhere in the background. Yeah, yeah, and
yeah,
it's not nice. It's not polite, first of all. You should ask if you really want to take a picture. Okay, you can ask, and I take
yeah.
picture together, but not like only go.
Yeah.
I had a friend from UK who had visited Agra, and he was like, he was actually taking it in good spirit. So he was like, I feel like a celebrity. Like I should stay here because people are just making me feel as if I'm the like Shah Rukh Khan or something, because everyone wanted to take a photo with him. And like he was telling me stories which he was laughing about, but I was feeling so cringy. Like he's like, I was uh, walking and looking at Taj Mahal, and there was a school excursion that was happening. So there were like kids, fourth class or fifth class kids, about 30, 40 who were there. And the teacher was like, go, stand with the fair person. Go stand with and the entire class stood with him. And he's like, what's happening? And then it was like a class photo that happened with him standing in the center. And no one asked him. So, and he's like, one time he was like sitting and having Coke, and some uncle came with a kid and just put the kid on his lap and went back and started taking photos. And he's like, what is this? So this is like really funny stuff. But I don't understand this whole stigma around. Right. Like you will not do this probably with a person who's come from, I don't know, Zimbabwe, for example, and sitting there and you're like, oh, do them and take a photo. Either do that. I mean, if the fascination is foreigners, then do it for everyone. Why is it coming to only fair foreigners, for example? Like, that's my question then.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I just try to see because I see a lot of comments. I see something about Gujarat. In Gujarat, also a lot of people would ask to take pictures together, but generally it's safe. But of course, foreigners get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Um, and I see one more comment. I'm happy that I have lived in Dubai, which has a diverse culture and people from every culture live peacefully. Sad to see that Indians in India don't respect their own people and let alone foreigner women. Yeah,
Yeah. That
yeah.
is like, which is another question when like people ask why like we want to marry foreign women or whatever. I'm like, if you're living, let's say, in Delhi, for you, a Keralite is an equally foreign person than, let's say, a person from Austria, because the way Keralites live is very different from the way a Delhi person would live. So the definition of foreign is very subjective. And why is foreign only, let's say, white foreign? Like, why is foreign not like, why is the question not coming from, how about girls in Nigeria? Like, how do you get girls in Nigeria? No, they'll not come. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's such a weird stigma in the mind that it has to be fairer.
No, I'm very happy because when I'm featuring different couples, I'm very happy to see quite a few couples where wife is African and husband is Indian. So
Yeah.
I am so happy to see that because
Yeah.
I think most of Indians, yeah, they mistreat African people, but luckily not everyone think like that. So
Yeah.
of course, more and more open-minded people. Yeah, Dubai is safe. Yeah, Dubai is safe, of course, because there are so many foreigners living in Dubai. Yeah, so it's totally different than India. So your experience, was there something in India, what maybe except all these troubles, like people were staring at you, there's something else what you didn't feel comfortable about, or maybe you didn't understand?
Not really. I don't think so.
I mean, I don't
Can you
think
think?
we traveled a lot because of COVID
Yeah, that's
and
the
because of
thing.
the wedding
Because
as
of the wedding, like we were pretty busy with all the wedding preparations and like going shopping and everything. So we didn't travel around that much, but like within Delhi, we moved a little bit around, and I don't think I was uncomfortable with anything. Sorry, I just had to change location because my phone is running out of battery. I was very comfortable with everything, but that's probably because, like as I said, we mostly were with his family, and his family is just great.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. And
His family
did
is the
you
best.
have a big fat Indian wedding, like 1,000 people?
No,
no.
unfortunately, because of the COVID restrictions, we only were allowed 300 people, I think.
Only, yeah, yeah.
Only
It's
300.
not
I
that
mean,
Yeah.
much. Yeah, it's just only a few.
I
So
mean,
what?
like, to put it in like some perspective, the Austrian wedding we had 30 people.
Okay, so you're
It was still
comparing.
10 times as much. So for me, it was a big wedding, but I loved it so much. I already told him I am so sad that I am not going to be a bride again.
Yeah, but you can
I
marry.
would
Why not? Like in 5 years to celebrate your anniversary.
Celebrate.
let's do that every year. I love that.
Oh,
We
yeah,
walk
every
around the
day
fire
once in the
17.
wedding.
But our thing was the haldi ceremony was
Mandy,
very
we
close
didn't have
family.
haldi.
So it was probably like 20, 30 people, just close family. For our wedding, we had called a little bit extended family from my mother's side in Himachal.
I think
So
that
we
was
had,
like about 120 or something like that.
yeah, yeah. And for reception, we had called like then parents, colleagues, and everyone basically came. So yeah.
And how many days did your wedding last? Because tradition, I think Indian wedding can last for 3 days, even for one
Uh,
week. Did you
It was
have one
3 days.
week?
We had three. We had 3 days.
So
3 days.
you had all the rituals, so you follow everything.
Not, not everything, because we didn't have a haldi ceremony, because
Yeah.
I said I would not like to do that, because every time I eat Indian food, my fingers are stained completely like yellow for
Yeah.
like 2 weeks. So I thought that might not look that great on my face.
Yeah. We had a
But we
mehndi
did a
ceremony.
Mehndi ceremony, and then we had the fere, and then the reception.
Yeah, because I recently saw
Oh,
a video of a.
and we had a puja before.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes, a
about
puja before
you
the
just
Mehndi.
said about how the ceremony. I just saw a video of a famous Indian blogger. You probably know him, Dhruv Rathi, I think his name. Do you know
Yeah.
him? Yeah, I
I
think he
think we met
talked a
him.
lot about politics and stuff. He's kind of famous. And he recently got married to a German girl because he studied in Germany. And
Hmm.
they had this ceremony. And she was also kind of scared because she has blonde hair, how she will look after that. So he was kind of warning her, you will probably have some yellow stains. Okay. And somehow they didn't put too much on her, but they put a lot on him. So he was complaining, okay, look at me, I am all yellow, but they didn't put anything on you, so you are lucky. So he escaped. Yeah, so I just remember, yeah. But Indian weddings are very beautiful. I think for a foreigner, it's something totally different, like different experience, like something it's always bright, always, I don't know how to explain it. And of course, if it's an open-minded family, you have chance to dance a lot because not in all weddings you dance. There
Oh
are
yeah,
some.
people were drunk on the reception. Like they were gone. Like by the end,
But also, we planned a lot of dances, and I danced 5 dances,
yeah,
Oh,
and that was great.
yes,
yeah.
because I saw, so I haven't been to a Hindu wedding ceremony, let's say, but I attended one time Punjabi one. That was something, I think I will remember it forever. I didn't dance so much in my whole life. It was, you just cannot sit. You know, Punjabi music, it's like, it's so cheerful, you can't sit. You want to dance.
There is in Punjabi weddings, there is something called as car bar. Have you heard of that? So car bar in Hindi
Oh, the
would mean,
car bar.
so car bar as a word in Hindi means like a job or something like that. But car bar in that sense broken into two, car and a bar. So at the back there is a car which has got in the backside just filled with alcohol, and whoever is dancing can keep going back and having like a shot of drink and coming back and dancing. That happens in
I did see really because no people okay maybe some people bought some alcohol but I didn't really notice it so much, but anyway everyone were dancing
uh,
and
yeah, I
it
think it depends again on the family, right? Like some families in Punjab really drink. Like over there, it's like a pretty awesome thing to like. I know grandmothers who sit with people and they're like, okay, I want to like have a peg or something. So it I think depends on what kind of upbringing you have had in that Punjabi family as
yeah,
well.
because in my husband's family no one drink at all, so
So
it
then
was
yeah, then your wedding probably wouldn't have had alcohol, but
no, not. No, actually, from his, because it was like mixed marriage, and it wasn't happening in India, it happened in Canada. So
okay.
from the groom's part, there was alcohol, and from the girl that no one drinks, it's like totally different, two different people. So there was alcohol at yours, but no one was were drinking from my husband's side. Yeah.
Okay.
But it was a great experience because I always wanted to see a real Indian wedding because I saw some on the video, but I got an impression that it's so boring. No one was dancing. People, like the groom and bride are sitting, they cannot even smile. They have to look serious. And I thought, what's going on? Are they not happy or what? This is a typical like
Yeah.
traditional Indian wedding for maybe some really conservative families, and of course it's arranged marriage, so they probably didn't know each other so well. That's why they were not comfortable with the fact that they're just getting married. So I don't know, but I just got an impression that it's a little bit boring or something, but
I mean,
not
it
many.
depends. Yeah, yeah, because I think again, it all comes down to how it's been planned, why it's been planned. Like if it's a forced arranged marriage, then it's going to be like a pretty dull situation, probably. Like as much as you want to pull it up, the bride and groom would be just sitting grumpy. They would be like, why are you even getting us married? So I think yeah, if the bride like Nicole was all into it, like she was like, I will do this, I will do that, whatever, and that's kind of
Actually, like,
something.
his parents were like, we're just keeping it like one day, very low key. And I was like, no, please, I want it all. Give me all the everything. Like, I was really into it.
Yeah.
That's nice. So you were Indian in your previous life, yeah. If you felt so comfortable in that,
That's that's
in that
actually
country.
like a lot of people at the reception came up to me and were like, I think you were Indian in your previous like the way you danced and the way you're carrying your sari. It was very interesting.
So
I'm
how
starting to believe that too because I love Indian food. I love it.
and
Like I
how do
think
you like Indian clothes? Did you prefer to wear Indian clothes in India or a Western one?
I think I wore a mix. I don't have that many Indian clothes yet,
I mean,
unfortunately, but
you were
but
wearing that Fab India stuff, right?
yeah, so I have a few things from Fab India, but not that many things. I am planning to go on a big shopping trip next time we're going to India. But I think Indian clothes are definitely way more comfortable than Western clothes. And also way more flattering to my body type
Yeah,
because in Western countries everything is like very slim fit and skinny fit and
yeah.
like I'm not slim and skinny, so it's not really made for me. But in India, everything is like flowing and really like accentuates like the curviness, and I love that.
Yeah, and I think in hot weather it's much nicer to wear salwar kameez, for example. I think it's the most comfortable clothes because
It is really comfortable. But the thing is, like we went in December, so it was not that warm.
yeah,
So I was wearing a lot of sweatshirts and but I wore a lot of chunnis.
yeah,
Chunnis?
yeah,
No,
yes.
no, chun.
Yeah.
Dupatta, yeah, yeah,
Dupatta,
Yeah.
chunni.
yeah, chunni dupatta, yeah,
In
I
yeah,
fact,
remember.
I had a So when I was doing my undergrad, I used to do a lot of theater, and for that, I was once playing a character of mm, a landlord and like a rural landlord. So I just went to one of the villages and I just stayed there for like a couple of days to see how they live. And over there, people wear dhotis a lot, which is that
Yeah.
Indian men what they wear. And that was a very funny incident. I was wearing jeans and it was quite hot. And I'm sitting and that old guy looks at me. He's like, "Why do you wear these pants and all this? Isn't it like hot or something?" I'm like, "Why? What happened?" He's like, "With dhoti, we have like natural aeration happening. Like air keeps going in and it's so cool, isn't it?" I was like, "Great."
Yeah, I think in hot weather, yeah, it's better something like made of cotton. I can't imagine how you can wear jeans, actually. I see some modern girl, they prefer to wear jeans when it's plus 45. I think the best clothes is salwar kameez, or I think you can wear only some
Yeah, but
maybe, I don't know,
yeah.
leggings and something like kurta on top. That's all. That's the most comfortable dress, I would say.
But I think it's always about the grass is greener on the other side, right? Like if you've always grown up wearing salwar suit or something like that, you probably want to shift to jeans or pants or shorts or anything. And the other people who come in there like this is so comfortable. Like all my American friends who went to India, they tried things which they had never worn before, and for them it was like a life changer. They were like, this is so much more comfortable than a jeans. Probably
Yes.
for Indians, it's like we have always worn those. So it's always like wanting to break the norm, right? You're like, why always salwar kameez in India? Like, why not a short? I want to wear shorts, which is
Yeah,
probably
exactly. Yes, yes. They always want to try something good we never
yeah.
did before. Yeah. That's why Indian girls they prefer to wear Western clothes and they're very surprised that why this boy is wearing Indian clothes? What's wrong with you? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true, yes.
Yes, and this question I would like to ask both of you because you are both from totally different cultures, background, religion. Did you face any difficulties because of that, or everything went just smoothly?
Can I answer first?
Yes,
I
sure.
think there was only one thing that was a big thing for me. So in Austria, people are very affectionate. Like they hold hands, they even kiss on the streets. So I grew up with that culture, like just being very touchy and very affectionate.
Yeah.
So when we started dating, he was not like that. And that was the biggest shock. I was like, why is he not holding my hand? Like I remember the first time I arrived in US, I was just like trying to grab his hand and he was like looking around like, oh no, there are Indian people. Oh no. So he was not holding my hand. I was like, what is wrong?
Yeah.
I think
Because
that
it's
is
not
one.
a common thing in India, yeah, of course. You can't do it. Okay, maybe wife and husband they can do it, just hold each other's hand. But normally I see that husband is somewhere going away alone and wife is behind him just and holding
Catching up,
something
trying
heavy.
to catch up. Yeah, that's a pretty common thing. Like I've seen, especially in railway stations, the father will just run ahead. The wife would probably be walking behind, and the kid is shuttling between the two. Whatever
Yeah,
is being
yeah,
communicated, the kid.
that's what I see. Or sometimes just holding two heavy bags and child as well, and husband is somewhere doesn't care. Okay, let it be.
But I think that was the biggest challenge for me because I think I'm very good at adapting to different things, like to different lifestyles. But generally, I don't think we're that different, like in our mindsets. But I don't know. What do you think?
No, same thing. I think the reason I was behaving like I don't appreciate that behavior. I'm trying to change that behavior as well. But like growing up in India, especially, there's always been like I remember if we liked a girl, for example, the other guys were like, "Oh, you like a girl," and that like then you were like, "Oh, maybe I should like hold things in and not like express things." So that
Like,
was
what will
probably
people think? Log
yeah,
kya kahenge?
yeah, look, yeah, kind. That's the whole like. But yeah, it's and I think it's wrong. Like I actually watched I don't know that it's called PK or some that movie in which they said that India is a interesting country where people show anger and hatred outside the house but love inside the house. So it's kind of like that only that it's an inhibition. I'm trying to work on it, but that's the only issue that we had. Apart from that, religiously, I am not a very
We're
religious person.
we're both not. Yeah, we're both not very strictly religious. We do have our beliefs, but I think both of our belief systems are not really like linked to the religion itself, if that makes sense. Like technically, like on paper, I am Christian,
Yeah.
but I do not resonate with the Catholic Church. I do have my own beliefs, but they don't necessarily have to be Catholic. And I think the same with his beliefs. So I think that's just vibing very well. Like we
Yeah.
have those
And
those
generally,
those
I've been, yeah, and I have always, I think this was around when I was in undergrad, because I was doing theater, so I had to play different characters, and because of that, I used to sometimes read a lot of religious manuscripts from different religions, and again, the fundamentals used to all be same, and that is what used to resonate with me. So I was like, whatever the fundamental is what I believe in. So I don't really, it's not like, I am a Hindu, so you also have to be a Hindu.
Yeah.
Or, in the house, I want to have like a temple and you should also pray with me when I pray. That's never been like, in fact, once we were just talking, because it's like, even though I don't pray every day, but if I want to, I will. It's not like I feel as if, I've been uh, a sinister person. But that's why we were like, we'll probably have like a mix of temple where it's like, it's not just um my gods and her gods, but also people in our family who passed away, for example, so their photos as well. So it's like, it's more of a mix of all these things. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Just one more comment. I see that what Keshav mentioned is absolutely right, that an Indian from another state is seen as a foreigner, so they wanna click pictures with an actual foreigner as if she is from a different planet. That's exactly. I just try to see if there are some comments or questions. Yeah, one more. It's really nice to see Indian families accepting women not only from a different culture, but from a different country altogether. Yeah. Because there are so many comments, so I try not to miss something. It happened in India. Couples not feel comfortable in crowded places, and they can't put their hands together. Yeah, I think it's an Indian thing indeed, and especially you can't kiss or hug in front of the parents. Yeah, that is something.
I mean, we
Yeah,
did hug in front of in front of your parents.
yeah, we hugged because, like, again, I am comfortable doing things what I've seen my parents do. So my parents hug each other in front of me, but they'll never kiss. Like, they'll kiss on the cheek, but not on the lips. I mean, they would, but not in front of me. Like, that's the general understanding.
Yeah.
So that's the same with us as well. That like, I think, and it's, again, I need to work on it, but like, I'm even uncomfortable in front of her parents, and they are pretty, like, I've seen them kiss each other on, like, peck each other on the lips and just say bye. I haven't been able to do it, and like, I want to be at a stage where I can, but there's a lot of things that I need to work on for
But I
breaking that.
think I also kind of adjusted a little bit because like obviously with my previous boyfriends, because they were also Austrian, it was definitely way more publicly affectionate. And like I'm starting to realize that that's definitely not necessary, and it also can make other people uncomfortable. Like not everyone wants to see you like smooch around with your boyfriend. So
Yeah.
I think we're on a good middle ground right now. Like we will hold hands and we will hug, but we don't have to kiss in front of others. Like
Yeah.
that's not necessary.
Personal thing. Yeah, I see one more intercultural couple. Yeah, Indian husband and Swedish wife. Yeah, I see they also reply that, well, I held my wife's hand all the time. So when they went to India, yeah, they're married 10 years already. Yeah. So,
Oh yeah, in
yeah,
India he definitely held my hand because I was like I'm a pretty nervous person and like anxious. So I was like, you need to hold my hand all the
especially
time.
when
So
you have to cross the road. Yeah. I'm always told my husband sometimes that, no, no, I don't want to go. There are so many cars. How can you cross?
Oh,
It's
no. So
really,
even since I've been living in US I go back to India every 6 months or 7 months. Because of COVID, I couldn't go back for like quite a while, like probably 2 years or something. And when I
yeah.
went back, I remember I was in a place called CP in Delhi, Connaught
uh,
Place, and there is like no red light for quite a while. So if you want to cross the road, you have to be a daredevil and just walk through. and I was there with a friend, and my friend just walked through, and I had forgotten how to do that. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to do this. And the car's just going by, and from the other side, he's like, come over, come over. And I remember there was some drunk guy who just came and he held my hand and he just took me with him. So that is that is pretty tough to do.
It's really crazy how people drive there. I remember I told one Indian girl that I went many times in Indian bus. She was shocked. How did you dare to sit in Indian bus? Did you see how they drive? I say, yeah, I felt like I'm flying actually. It was so fast, and with this, they were just they use this noise horns all the time. It's like you're going crazy. And when you enter the bus, I felt like I'm a celebrity. Oh, everyone stopped watching the songs, or it was always a movie or songs were playing in the background, and then just they looking at you with a lot of curiosity. But it was still fun, still some experience. Yeah, but of course, I think they should be more comfortable. So many people die on the roads in India. I think in every family someone died in a car accident or scooter accident, whatever. Unfortunately. And I just saw one question. It was sent to me. I will ask it because it's kind of, it's pretty similar that what I ask you. How hard or easy was it for you to accept each other's differences culturally?
Quite easy, at least for me, because I knew that, and it's not just cultural. Like even if I date anyone, the other person is going to have another personality, and the personality comes from probably the way they were raised, their own religion, their own beliefs, whatever. So like the whole, as I said, like it's all about relationship is like 100%, 100%, not 50-50. So you give in your best because you know the other person gives in the best, and you can only give in the best when you are ready to accept the person for who the person is. Otherwise, it's like you are dating a clay where you want to mold it into what you want it to be, and that's not a relationship. Relationship is like I really like you and I love you, and I know how you are and I accept you for that. So like it's it's been more about not making the other person change, but making yourself understand that this is how it will work. This is how these changes are required, and I think she has also done that, and we've just found a middle ground very easily.
Like, as I said earlier, I don't think there were that many differences. Like, I mean, maybe like family-wise, like how we act around family. Like, definitely, there's a different level of respect in Indian families. Like, for example, the touching the feet of the elders. Like, that was something, but that was just, it was never like oh God, like that's such a big thing. It's just like he told me that people do that. I was like, okay, I will do that. Like, I think that's just generally how we are. Like, we tell each other, okay, in my culture, we do this, and it's like, okay, we'll just do it.
And I think,
sorry, I will interrupt you. I heard that for many foreigner girls, it was something shocking. Why should I touch the feet? It's like, I don't do it.
I never said, why should I touch the feet? I was just like, I was a little confused and a little anxious about the process of it. Like, do I completely bend down? Do I like kneel down? Like, just like, how do I do it? I was totally like, I was fine with doing it. I was just like, how do I do that?
But I think the other thing is also, I remember my parents telling me that whatever she wants to do, like, we don't have a problem with that. So, like, Nicole, it's not like every time you meet, probably the only time you touched their feet was the initial ceremony of getting into the house. And but I don't think you touched their feet then also. Like when you have to.
Your parents?
Yeah, my parents.
I did that a couple of times. I tried to, but then your papa took me to the side and was like, "You are not touching our feet.
Okay.
You are our daughter. You do not touch our feet." I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
No,
I'm only touching like. Sorry.
Yeah. I never got a chance really to touch someone's feet. If I try, immediately these people start hugging me or kissing me. I just go down a little bit, yeah, and that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
now I think I only touch the feet of like Dadi Dadaji and Nani Nanaji. I think that's because even
I think
it depends.
Yeah, I think it depends from family to family as well, because a lot of places, for example, some places still follow the tradition of respecting the parents where they add a G, like Papa Ji or Mama Ji. And that's like nothing wrong in that. Like, so it depends. Like, my family has been pretty much like, you don't need to follow all these things. We are fine with being, you need to be comfortable. Like, even for the wedding, that's why they said that let's have 1 day wedding because you might feel uncomfortable. But then Nicole was like, no, I want to try it. And they were like, okay, like you can wear whatever you want. Like, you don't really need to wear all the Indian stuff also if you're not comfortable. So it's generally like you be you. And I think that's
I'm
where
very lucky with my in-laws. Like they give me the chance to explore their culture, but they always are like, you don't have to do that. Even like food-wise, they're like, you don't have to eat this. We can make something else for you, and they're very open and very, as I said, I have the best in-laws.
Yeah, because I heard so many different stories from about different families. Not everyone is as lucky as you. And just one more comment. It's also specific to family types. I'm an Indian, and my parents taught us not to bow down before anyone except God. So probably in some families, yeah, you don't have to touch the feet. I
I
think.
remember I once tried to touch your Mossie's feet, and she just gave me that very confused look and started laughing. It's like, no,
Yeah,
don't
because
do
even I
that.
have never done that. Even I know, like she's such a friendly person to me. I've never touched her feet. So she
Yeah,
would
so
have
I
been
generally
surprised.
now go by the rule like he is greeting people first, and I'm looking like, is he touching their feet or is he not? So if he touches the feet, I'm touching the feet.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't see anything uncomfortable about that. I just, if I see an elder person, I just a little bit go down. That's all, and people
Yeah,
understand. Yeah,
I
of
mean
course, they're
that
foreigners.
that that started in North India anyway. Like they just go down till the knee. Like they just touch the knee now. They don't go down to the feet as well.
I
Yes,
mean,
yes,
like you generally also don't really touch the feet. You're also just like bowing down.
yeah,
Like I have not seen you touch their feet,
I've touched
but
no one's feet. Yeah, like even my grandparents, I've never touched. Like it's been such a friendly atmosphere. Like I remember going to my nana nani's place, and it was always like the hug came first, and we just sat and talked as friends. And so it's never been like I was talking. It never felt uncomfortable as if I'm talking to an authority. It was like I'm just talking to a friend. Like my dadi is like one of my favorite friends, for example. Like we gossip about anything. So
mhm,
yeah,
yeah. So I have one more comment. Bow down. It's respect for elders and get their blessings. Yeah, yeah, that's true. It is actually. So I don't know why for some girls it's like a big tragedy. Oh, I have to touch the feet. Oh my God.
I think like some people just aren't really open for changes or for things they don't know. But like I really like those things. I'm a big family person and I'm all for respecting others. So I really like that.
Yeah, I think it's important to respect each other and learn different things because you are from different culture. You have a chance to learn something new, and
yeah,
I think it's
Actually, I think
there is a
I
beauty
think
in it.
I think his mother, I don't know if it was his mother or his papa, once told me that I'm more Indian than him because I'm like picking up plates, I'm like offering food, I'm just refilling people's water glasses, getting some chai, and he's not doing that. I'm like, you're more Indian than him.
yeah.
Yeah,
My
that's
parents.
what I noticed about some Western girls. They really behave like Indian. They respect and their husband culture so much. I was really impressed. It's like they're wearing Indian clothes. They're just cooking only Indian food. It's really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
think
for
not
me,
all Indian wives would do that.
yeah, I mean, for me, I'm pretty sure like my parents always told me that, you were meant to leave India only because I don't see much Indian in you. I was like, okay.
Yeah, one more question I see. I will just read all these questions in the comments because otherwise they're gone. Do you have language barriers when you visit India? And sorry, it went away. And when your relatives visit you and EU?
Yeah, so in India, I mean, most people do speak English. It's just like his daddy and his nani that don't speak English that well. So that's a little bit of an issue, but I am trying to learn Hindi as quick as possible so I can also gossip with them.
Yeah.
But
So
I
do you
think other than
understand
that,
something already? Do you
Sorry?
understand? Do you understand some Hindi already?
Yes, a little bit, like a teeny tiny bit.
I
And
mean,
Not a
do you understand some German?
yeah, I mean, so if two people are talking, and I think that goes for her as well, because I remember I was talking to some friends on the phone in Hindi, and once I got done, she was like, "Oh, so you were talking about these things, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And that's the same. Like, if people are talking in German, at least through words that they're saying in it, I can get a gist of what's being told. But like same with me, I can probably hold like a 2 to 3 minute conversation in German, and Nicole can probably hold a 2 to 3 minute conversation in Hindi. But
I'm not sure about that, but
yeah. No, but we actively started learning. She's learning more Hindi right now. I had to stop because I was finishing my PhD, so there was a lot of work with that. But the whole idea is that we want to learn each other's language because from her family side as well, there was no issue with language. Like I can talk to everyone except her father. So my father-in-law speaks only German. So again, it's the same thing that I want to like learn German enough to have a conversation with him. So yeah.
Yeah. And how do you find Hindi? Is it easy for you to learn it?
I mean, I can already read and write, so I think that the hardest part is done. It's just so I've been in a Hindi course actually, but my Hindi teacher was not the best. So I kind of wasted half a year in which I could have learned a lot. But I mean, now I kind of got like the sentence structure and the grammar. It's just, I think now it's just learning a lot of vocabulary,
Yeah.
which his papa is teaching me. So
Yeah, he
Yeah.
started like he
Yeah, I
started like
learned
a weekly
Hindi
thing.
as a child, but somehow I realized that I don't understand proper Hindi. I understand more of Urdu. Actually, 90% of words they use are from Urdu, not Hindi. It's like if someone say me some real Hindi word, I say, what is it? I don't understand
Yeah.
it.
I mean, there is a lot of Urdu in the normal Hindi that we speak anyway.
Yeah.
Like in fact, I love Urdu in terms of the tehzeeb or the respect it has, or just the words are so respectful and loving. Like we had a play in which we had a line which was very funny. Like in Urdu, we say tashrif, which is like tashrif rakhiye, which is
Yeah.
technically butts. And in Hindi, we use that in such vulgar ways, but in Urdu, it's such a beautiful word, technically.
Yes, it is. To be honest, I like Urdu words much more. For example, for the book in
Yeah,
Hindi it is pustak, in Urdu is kitab, and I would
yeah,
always say kitab, not
yeah,
pustak. I would
yeah,
never
Kitab
use this word.
is Urdu.
yeah.
Oh, I thought that. I only know Kitab.
Kitab,
That,
yeah, kitab is Urdu, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
Pustak
mean,
is Hindi.
And again, we should be proud of the fact that it all came from Afghanistan, technically, because when Mughals came in, the whole cuisines, like we talk of tandoori chicken, we talk of all these things, this is all Afghani mixed with Indian. So, I mean, that's who we are. And Urdu is just like, it's so ingrained in Hindi that I think you're right. Like, probably the only time I've used the word pustak is when I was in the Hindi class, where the Hindi
Yeah,
teacher was
probably.
like,
Yeah.
It's like, what was it? What was the one word I learned on Duolingo? They were like, what is that? Was it Uttam? Uttam?
Uttam. Yeah, no one uses Uttam. Uttam is like superb or
Perfect.
best or perfect.
Yeah. I never learned any like specific Hindi words. It was always from Urdu. And just one more comment. We are also intercultural couple, and my wife is from Germany, and I'm originally from India. My wife understands Hindi, though I see language barrier with my family members. So, because of
Yes.
course, not everyone, well, if you learn German, it's easy. I wouldn't say that. I was learning German at school. German is easy. German grammar, really, it's so difficult. It's more like Russian grammar or French grammar, I would say. I
Oh,
don't know.
French is actually, like, French grammar is quite easy compared to German grammar.
Yeah,
And
no,
I think
yes, yes,
German
sorry.
is actually, I think, one of the hardest languages to learn.
So,
It's really.
when I was doing the Euro trip, I keep telling this story to everyone. I think Nicole has heard it 20 times. I was,
I'm
when I,
so sick. I don't like you haven't even started telling that story, and I already know what it is, and I'm so sick of that story.
So when I was doing the Euro trip, I made sure to learn some languages wherever I was going, and I took some things from India to give those people, whoever I was staying with. So in Berlin, I was staying in an Airbnb with a German guy, and last day I thought I will go and give him something like a present or something for, the for his hospitality. So I made Indian tea. I had taken some Indian tea bags and I made tea for him, and I took to his room, and I was just started learning German. So I was like, I'll probably say that in German to him. And I did not know the German word for gift. What I wanted to say is like, this is a gift for you. But I didn't know what gift means in German. So I went to him and I'm like, das ist ein Gift. And he just stared at me. He's like, what are you trying to say? I'm like, why? What happened? He's like, gift in German means poison. So I was basically saying, here, have some poison. So I was like, oh, wow. So German is, yeah.
Yeah, so this guy he speaks 7 languages, and I'm fluent in German. I find German quite easy. I don't know. My respect really, because okay, for me it was also easy. I was a child, so I just picked it very fast. I could understand, right? I had a lot of pen friends from Germany, but with time I didn't have any practice, so basically I forgot almost everything. So
Yeah.
now I say, okay, maybe a few phrases. When I hear German, I understand a lot, but I can't speak, unfortunately.
Yeah, same. I think I lived in Hyderabad for 4 years, so I learned Telugu. I was in school there, so I had to learn Telugu. So I think I can still read it at least, but not understand. But yeah, I think some people really have a knack for languages, like they can really pick things up quickly.
Yeah, you should have talent for languages, I think. Not everyone has it, of course. And if we talk about people, I would ask you, Nicole, what do you think, what makes Indians really different from others? Which qualities would you pick and describe them, how they are? Indian man. Yeah. What is a typical Indian man,
A
according to you?
typical
Based on
Indian,
your experience, of course.
based on my experience, I mean, I have had quite mixed experiences. So I personally think that it's not country specific. I think like men everywhere are kind of the same. Like either they're good people or they're bad people. Like I don't think Indian men are any different than Austrian men or I don't know, whatever. Like
Yeah, but there
American.
are some different.
Maybe they're a little bit different than American men. But like in general, I like about Indian men that I think a lot of them are very respectful. Obviously, a lot of them also are not very respectful. But I think about like all of the men I met in his family and his friends, for example, they're very kind, they're very respectful, very polite as well. And I always like make sure that they take good care of you. Like when you're a guest somewhere, even the men usually are making sure you're taken care of very well. But I think yes, exactly. But I think in general, that's the thing. That's the case. I think everywhere. Like I don't think that sounds a little mean. I just wanted to say I don't think Indian men are special. Obviously, they're very special, just like every person is.
But I think there are some points which Indian men have and that make them different. Like, for example, according to me, all girls say things that, okay, Indians can talk very nicely. Yeah. Probably they watch too many Bollywood movies. Yeah. So it gets impact on their talk. Yeah. But they know how to impress a woman.
I mean, that can also be deceitful, right? You might be a smooth talker, but your behaviors might just be very different. Bollywood doesn't teach you that. It's like Bollywood tells you till the happy ending, but they don't tell you what happens after that.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, that's what happened. Many Russian girls, they love Bollywood movies and they think, oh, Indian men are so romantic. They are so nice. They treat women like queens. Yeah, but in real, it's not the case.
Yeah.
So
In
you,
fact,
I'm very glad that I met Keshav because he's not a smooth talker, but he does
I'm not.
treat me like a queen. You're not a
I'm
smooth
not.
talker,
Uh,
so
no, but
definitely
like
not.
there was an interview, like one of the romantic kings of India is like Shah Rukh Khan, and there was an interview with his wife, and the wife was like, he might be romantic on the screen, but in real life, he's just a normal, non-romantic person. So ultimately, no one can be like every time you meet, they open their arms and like hair starts flying. That's like a very cliche thing to think of.
That would
yes,
be very weird.
Yeah, and I think Indians, they're very sentimental because they can easily cry in front of the woman. You will not see it among Western guys, they won't do that. But among Indians, you will see it, and I think a lot of my friends, they were shocked in the beginning. Oh, he cried in front of me, can you imagine? I never saw it before that man cried.
I actually have, I mean, yes, I think his dad is definitely a person like that. Like he is very emotional and he cries a lot, like at weddings and things like that. But other than that, have I ever seen an Indian man cry?
I don't think you've seen me cry much.
I don't think so.
You didn't cry.
But I have seen quite a lot of Western guys cry. So I think it depends on the person and not on the
But like from my
where
perspective,
they
what I've seen generally in at least in Indian thing is like, and that's a general awareness that's been coming across where they're saying that don't dehumanize men by telling them that be strong and hold things together and be a man, and thus you can't
Mhm.
show emotions like crying. And that's what, at least in North India, what I've seen is maybe it would be happening that men are crying in front of their wives, for example, maybe, but general tendency of Indian men is also to hold things back, like not show emotions, that kind of like there's still patriarchy to some extent where they're like, I am the head of the family, and if I crumble, the entire family crumbles. That's what the thought process is probably.
Yeah, they're
But
trying to stay strong for everyone else.
yeah, but that's what I've seen that in my friends as well. Like, I mean, obviously there are few who are quite open about their emotion, which is
Oh yeah.
very healthy, which is very healthy. But I think that's what I've seen everywhere. Like even in US, for example, there are a handful who show emotions. Most of them will not. So, but maybe it would have been like your friends might have met those right people who can show emotion. That could be,
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
it's the 1%.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Very lucky women.
And what can you say, Keshav, what makes Austrian girls different than Indian girls if you compare the main differences? Because I'm sure they're different if you talk about India. Okay, Indian girls can be also different. It depends on the family, on the state, on many factors.
Yeah. And I
But
mean, generally speaking, also, I think it's, again, I'm not an expert. I'm not generalizing. You can't generalize these things because everyone is different. But the general thing I think that stems out is from that society where, um, like Indians, and not just women, but Indians generally fall in the conservative category. Not everyone is, but generally they lean towards that. In Europe, I don't know whether Austria is different from other European countries, but generally in Europe, which I've seen is that there's more freedom. So, people can very quickly start making their own choices, including women. So, and then there is no pressure of marriage as well. So when you're 18 or 20, parents aren't like, oh, now you're going to reach the marriage age, or what are you thinking? Which starts in India, for example.
yeah,
So I think that kind of hits the personality as well. So you meet them, they are figuring themselves out by 24, 25. By 30, they have made themselves whoever they want to be. Basically, they've thought about it. They've been like, okay, this is what I want to be. In India, a lot of it is navigated by family or peer pressure or marriage and things like that. So that's what I've seen. So, um, but again, like all the people that are in my social group, my friends, my exes, all of them, they were our generation. So our generation is very different. Like we are not going to like sit around idle and be like, why is this happening? And internet is really helping that. So women now in India are also questioning. They're like, this is wrong. Like, why should I be getting married by 23 and why should I be getting a kid by 24?
yeah,
So that's shifting now. So there's a lot of rebellion happening, which it's not required in Europe. So in Austria, I'll not see a family fight where the daughter is fighting with her parents that, I don't want to get married. Like you might hear that in India. So that's probably a difference that you can see.
yes, of course, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
in Europe, women marry very late. I think after 25, it's pretty normal to get married. Not,
Yeah.
of course, not everyone, not everywhere, but generally, okay, or get kids quite late. It's also normal. They
Yeah.
prefer to build their careers and become independent first and then think about this. And I see one more comment. Evan, I got married once already and divorced. All relatives keep asking when you getting married again, age is going. Yeah, that's the case. Yeah, of course. In
Yeah,
India,
this is so funny because in Indian families, until the time they're not married, they don't want you to have a boyfriend, girlfriend. So there's like, no sex. And then once you get married, where is the baby? It's like just what we were telling you not to do, not do it.
exactly. Yes, yes. They start asking these questions immediately. Yeah, it's really amazing. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would like to ask you, okay, you already mentioned, Nicole, that you really like Indian cuisine. What is your favorite dish? Do you cook something Indian?
So I am not really good at cooking, but I know how to make jeera aloo. I know how to make puri aloo. I'm generally pretty good at making atta. Like
Oh,
I can make my own rotis and puri and everything. And I think I don't know what my favorite dish is. I do like puri aloo a lot. The thing is, like his parents have a great cook, and I think my favorite food is everything that he makes.
Yeah.
Like yes, I have not had anything I didn't like, to be honest.
yeah, so you
I'm
like
I'm not
everything.
I'm not big at in like I'm not a big fan of dal.
Mhm.
Not that's not really my thing, but like all the subsies are. I like subsies.
Yeah, I didn't like dal before, not so much, but since I tried my husband's dal, yellow dal, I really like it a lot, especially yellow one, because there are so many different types of dal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there are dal. But I mean, that's what I am trying to do, like, so that she enjoys what I cook, because once she's tasted my parents' cook's food, now nothing is good enough. Like, not even my tea is good enough. She's like, he makes such good tea. I'm like, okay.
No, I drink your tea as well, but his adraki chai is the best.
Yeah, so that's what I
Yeah, do you like cooking, Keshav?
Yeah, so before coming to US, I had never cooked, obviously. When I
Yeah.
came here, uh, like it's a humbling experience that, and then you start appreciating your cooks as well, because it takes so much effort to cook actually, and especially if you're cooking for someone else. But when I came here, I started off by asking my parents, like my mother, how to cook, which is not very helpful because they think that we know measurements. They're like, oh, just put this and put that. I'm like, how much of it? Like,
Pinch of
how? Tell
this.
me the quantity. They'll never tell the quantity. They're like, yeah, this, that, this, that. So then I like started learning through YouTube, and what I realized, especially with PhD, is that since you're sitting and working for hours, that was like a very good break. So it just got me into like, let's say 1 hour of cooking. I was cooking for food for an entire week, for example, and freeze it. So that
Mhm.
1 hour, 1.5 hours was like meditation in a way. So that really helped. So I have, whenever I'm like, what should I do rather than just watching Netflix at times, I'm just cooking. So I started liking it.
And do you prefer only Indian food? Like most of Indians, they're really patriotic about their cuisine. They don't want to try other food so much, or you like some other types of cuisine?
So when it comes to cooking, mostly I cook Indian, especially apart from breakfast, because breakfast becomes like some omelette related something or bread related something. But generally, growing up as well, like my parents still joke about it that I would probably just have 2 slices of pizza and my stomach will get filled. But if it's puri aloo, then I'll have like 17 puris. So I've been like, I somehow like the Indian cuisine taste. So when it comes to cooking at home, mostly it's Indian. If we go out once in a while, probably we go to Indian place. Otherwise, we'll probably go to different cuisines. Yeah, outside can be anything.
Mhm. How did you like Austrian cuisine?
Oh, I
Did
like
it
it.
something?
So I definitely love schnitzel, and I started off with Käsespätzle, uh, but I think schnitzel has become my favorite now. The pork one or the chicken one, either.
Oh, okay, so your family is non-vegetarian.
My sister is like my mother was non-vegetarian, but after like 18, she's automatically stopped by her own will. My dad does. He's tasted it. He's not liked it. My sister eats non-veg, so that's never been a problem. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, my parents in fact keep telling me to take in that protein if I can, then take it through that. But it's again like for us. non-veg is mostly like once in a week kind of a thing. So it's just
Yes.
like any other sabzi. So it's like, if you've had enough sabzi, just start like have like chicken curry or something like that. So it generally goes that way.
Yeah, that's true. I see one more comment. Generally, Indian men learn cooking when he's going abroad. Yeah, that's true actually. Else in
Yeah.
house, we as a man don't cook. That's also problem, I guess. That as a man we don't know cooking. Yeah.
Yeah. No, so when as I told you, like my family and all of us, we were in Kosovo in 2000 when that whole Serbian war was happening, and my parents had basically gone there as UN troops. So my mother and us, we all had to come back sooner. Like my mother was also in the UN, but her time got done quickly, so she had to come back. And that is when my dad was left there alone, and he's like, I don't know how to cook. What should I do? And my mother basically told him some 2, 3 things that he could make. And what he did was pretty clever. He called all Indian people to his place, and he cooked that in like a lot of quantity. So everyone had that. And from next day onwards, everyone started calling him. So he started going to different people's houses.
Yeah, that's true. Because in India, normally mothers they don't allow their sons even enter the kitchen. No, no, no. I will do everything myself. That's where they can learn cooking. So it's
Yeah,
only if they leave for some other countries, then of course they have to
normally,
eat.
yeah. Yeah.
That's how they learn. Yes.
Yeah. But
But
like a lot of people, for example, in India say that, oh, I miss my mother's hands food and stuff like that.
yeah,
But because both my parents were working people, I miss like my cook's food. I've not even tasted my mother's food so often because she was hardly cooking. So she was like, I think it was, that's why when Indian families generally have cooks, or if it's the housewife who's there, they just take over the kitchen. Like you don't really need to worry about those things. Whereas once you come abroad, like having a cook here, I'll be on the streets then. Like I will not have enough money to have a cook. So yeah, those are the luxuries of India actually.
yeah.
That's true.
Because in the West you can't allow yourself to have a cook, to have a cleaning woman. Yeah. So of course it's totally different. Yeah. But I see just one more comment. When I stayed with the Russian for 15 days, I helped her in kitchen and I fried chapati, made tea, but can't cook anything else. My mother never let me cook anything. Yeah, that's the case.
Yes.
So you enjoy, okay, so now you are not together, but when you start living together, which cuisine would you prefer to eat every day? Can you eat Indian cuisine every day, Nicole?
Yes, so I could eat Indian food for like I think a month straight, but then for a day or two I need something else as well.
Yeah.
But not really Austrian. I'm not a big fan of Austrian food because it's very like a lot of meat, and I don't really eat meat. So it's generally like some pasta or something, and then I'm back with Indian food.
Yeah, because for me, when I go to India, I miss like two things a lot. I miss a tasty bread. I don't know. I didn't find any nice bread like I can get in Europe. It's like I like hard bread, especially from Germany. It's really amazing, and I miss tasty cheese because Indian cheese. I'm sorry, but if I
Yeah.
got mozzarella, it tasted like I don't know, like something really strange.
You should try Austrian bread. Austrian bread is even better than German bread.
Yes, yes, exactly. I'm missing it a lot here because here bread is very soft and I hate this type of bread. I just like because in Russia we also can get very hard, dark bread. That's what I love a lot. So in India I didn't find it. Maybe it exists somewhere, but I didn't find
No,
it.
no, no. No. The Europe bread, even I love, especially those loaves which you can cut and eat from those loaves. Um, I haven't found the match. I think the only Indian thing that I love in bread related stuff is the butter. Like there is an Amul butter in India, and the taste of it I haven't been able to match anywhere. But cheese wise, yeah, I think cheese in Europe has been really good. Like even I like that.
And especially
Even in
I
US,
was
cheese
living
is not
in
good.
Belgium, now in Netherlands, of course, it's very popular for cheese, especially. That's why I really miss nice, tasty cheese. But okay, I can survive. We don't go for a long time to India, like for 1 month you can survive, but still you feel like having it sometimes. And
Even
I
like
still,
if we
yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
No, no,
Yes.
because I lived in Delhi. There's so many cuisines in Delhi. Like Delhi is known for food, and it's not just Indian food; it's everything, like Chinese or whatever. So growing up, also, it was like at least every, like we had a family tradition where every Sunday we used to have Maggie or,
Oh, I
uh,
love Maggie.
huh? What?
I love Maggie.
Yeah. And then there were a few times where we got in Chinese food or Italian food. So we always kept things changing. So even if I keep eating Indian all the time, I will get bored. Like I would be like, I need something different. So it's always been that mix. Yeah.
Yeah, and I see a comment that Indian food is not healthy, and
Yeah.
I feel better when I stopped eating Indian food.
That's true. I mean, if the amount of oil, like I can have puri aloo once. If I start having it every time, I'll have an heart attack.
I mean, it all depends like what you're eating. Like I
Yeah.
like to eat like subsies with rice, so I think that's somewhat healthy. Obviously, if you have puri with everything, that
Yeah,
would be pretty unhealthy.
there
But
was a
yeah,
moment I started eating naan with everything, and I discovered it's time to stop. But otherwise, yeah. But
because
it's
with
tasty, indeed, it's very tasty.
yeah, yeah. But I think that's what like it comes to the amount of oil because some people put a lot of oil in the sabzi. So to an extent, there is like oil floating on it. Like that definitely becomes like super unhealthy. But otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, but you can cook just without too much oil. You can make it healthier, obviously. So it's not necessary to put 1 kilo of oil or a lot of spices that you can't even handle it. Yeah, that's true. And my question, which I ask all the girls, and today I will ask you as well. So first I will start with you, Nicole. What would you recommend to the girls who are dating or in relation with Indian men? How to understand if man is serious or not, so that maybe to prevent some misunderstanding or problems in future? What would you recommend based on your experience?
I think the most important thing for any relationship is just communication. Just be very open, very blunt. Ask like, "Are we serious? Is this serious? What are your intentions? Where is this going?" Just be very blunt. And usually Indian men are pretty good at handling bluntness. Like
Mhm.
they're used to that. So just
That's where
very what?
they cry.
That's where they come. Just like be have an honest and like serious conversation with them and just generally communicate.
Yeah.
And be open. Be open for their culture, and then I think they're hooked on you.
That's a nice suggestion, yeah. And I'm very curious to hear you, Keshav, because I'm getting thousands of requests from your country mates. How to find a foreigner girlfriend? I want to marry someone abroad. What would you recommend to them? And actually, should they marry abroad? Because according to me, not every Indian should actually marry someone from totally different culture. They should understand the culture first, especially guys who have never been outside of India. They don't know how is life in other countries. They don't know what is the difference between foreigner girl and Indian girl. If I ask, why do you want to marry a foreigner? I often get replies, oh, because they're beautiful or because they're kind. And I ask, how do you know that? Have you been abroad? How can you say that? No, 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 I have never been abroad. It's just my dream. It's just my imagination that they're beautiful. Of course, they can see beautiful girls, but beauty is not everything, according to me, because we won't stay beautiful forever. There should be other things. So, what would you say for them?
Um, I mean, first of all, I agree that, eh, foreigners, again, it's like they are humans just like you are. They have a different belief system. And as I said, like it's from, let's say, if you're from UP, a person from Kerala is an equal foreign person for you. And, a good example of it is a lot of times interstate marriages in India don't work because of such different cultural expectations from
Yeah.
family. So if that can't work, it's very similar to a foreign person as well. They are going to have their own cultures, their own beliefs, and that might not work. So it all comes down to first of all asking yourself when you say like when as you said that they ask you that I want a foreigner, like they need to look back and be like, why do I need a foreigner? Like why am I dreaming of a foreigner? And if And you can always be very honest with yourself, because then you don't have to feel ashamed that other people are going to judge you, because you can answer yourself truly. So if you ask that question, and the answers come out like they are more beautiful and all that, then you go further into that question, like why are they beautiful? Why do you think that? And if everything comes down to the psychology of others having somewhere told you that they are better or they are beautiful, then that's a problem. Then you have been sold out to a concept which is not yours, but of other people, other narratives. And for me, like a lot of times I've seen that like foreigners are beautiful because that's what was taught by Britishers who came in. And they were told that, beauty lies in fairness. And if that is what you think, then you've been sold to a very wrong concept. So that is first and foremost. And if their dream is to marry a foreigner, they should be equally open to the fact that they will have their own say. They are not going to be like, and if they come from a family which is very traditional, and they themselves are very traditional, and they want a housewife, for example, then you're probably barking the wrong tree. Like, um, I mean, again, I can also say for a foreign woman who might dream of being a housewife for an Indian guy, then that's
Yeah.
a great match. Like you have found the right person. But
I
uh,
don't think that is a foreigner girl's dream to be a
uh,
housewife for anyone.
yeah, I mean, I'm saying in this 8 billion population, there might be one, let's say. There's someone who might be there who would be like, you know what, I've seen Bollywood movies. This is what I really like. I like what I want to be, that housewife and whatever. But majority of the people aren't. It's very similar to uh, let's say an Indian person marrying a foreigner, and the foreigner being like, I really love men who are in Bollywood, and that's why I want to marry you. And now they expect you to be a person who's extremely romantic throughout your life, which is not possible, because as humans, as Indians, we are not like as romantic as Shah Rukh Khan in our entire life. So the same applies in the other side as well. When foreigners are coming into India and you expect something out of them, they're not going to be truly who you generalize foreign women as. So they are going to be with their own beliefs, their own thought process, and they might not resonate with yours. So you need to be open-minded enough to be fine dating or being with a foreign person whose concepts just don't match with yours. And that again goes, as I said, goes with other states in India as well. Like if you're going to end up with a person who's from, I don't know, Haryana as well, you're going to have a very different mindset, and you should be able to understand those mindsets.
Yeah, but I saw a video. There was an American woman who left everything in America. Like she had a very good wife there. So she moved to Haryana in some little village and she became a housewife. She's very happy there. She's just making rotis every day, cleaning, helping his mother, everything. So I was like, oh wow, for some women it's fine, yeah, probably. But
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think, yeah, sorry.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like it's so individual dependent, right? Like there's so many people who desire so many different things. Uh, so I mean, I'm pretty sure there are going to be some people who just want to be housewives, and I mean that's my entire thing about the neo-feminism that has started. That everyone has to go out, like all women have to work. Then what about women who don't want to work, like who just want to be housewives? That's their want. Everything comes down to respecting what the person wants to do. Like if a person really wants to be a good housewife, fine, that's what they wish for. So yeah.
Yeah. And I see a comment about it. There are women like that. I had a Portuguese friend and she was married to a Pakistani man and she was so happy. She wanted to stay home and be a housewife. Yeah, so they exist. Maybe for us it's difficult to imagine, yeah, because some people, like, for example, if you work a lot, like you start working very early and then you get married, and some women, they just want to take rest to stay at home. For them, it's perfectly normal.
Yeah, even if I talk about Nicole and us, for example, like let's say that I went with the intention that I want to marry a foreigner because that's my dream. And I met Nicole, and my impression was that I really want her to stay home and work, stay home and be a housewife because that's what I desire as a wife as well. Then it wouldn't have worked. Like even if everything else matched, she would have been like, "This is not right. Like I don't want to do this." Or the other way around as well, where she says that I want to become a housewife. I don't. I personally want to be married to a person who, as I said, can take care of themselves, are independent, go out, make their own name, and not just depend on me. It's not like following me. I want a person who walks beside me. And if he starts saying one day that no, I want to just be a housewife, I don't want to do anything else, then we might have to have a conversation about it. I'm like, this is not what I want in my partner. So both works, right? So it's not just dreaming of being with a foreigner. It's dreaming to be with a person who you can match things with.
Yeah, I think it's more about because many Indian men, I know examples like that, they get married to some foreigner girls, and what they try to do, they try to change them. They try to make them Indian. And I don't understand why, first of all, why did you marry a foreigner if you want her to be an Indian, if you want her to behave like Indian wife, if you want her to do everything at home, if you want her to make puja every day, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but then why do you need a foreigner? Why not to marry an Indian? That I cannot understand. I know examples like that. That's why the marriage just breaks actually, because many girls, they can't handle it. They don't want to change. They're not ready for that. Yeah, so it's quite often, it happens quite often. So I think if a person is very conservative, I don't know if you agree with me or not, or from very conservative family, they shouldn't really go for a foreigner wife. Maybe it's their dream, maybe, yes. You can dream a lot, but you should think first, yeah, will it work out or not? Especially if she has to move to India, if she has to live in India.
Yeah, but this all like as I said, or someone else also said, right, that there are women who want to get into a traditional family. So that's a different thing. Like I personally have a problem with conservative families in general because the world has progressed and we no longer live in even 1950s. 1950s was very different from 2020s. So for me, being conservative is a problem anyway. But if a person believes in being conservative and they end up finding some foreigner who likes to be in a conservative family, but that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a very rare possibility. There's going to be like one or two that might. But if you dream for it and you want to achieve that dream, then you have to change probably because see, it's hard to find one person who's probably wanting to enter a conservative family.
Yeah, of course. Or you should explain before marrying each other. So you should tell, okay, I'm expecting that you will get up every day at 5 o'clock. I'm expecting that you will cook for me 3 times a day, fresh meals and this and that. So it shouldn't be a surprise after marriage. That's what I mean.
Because I have a friend who is dating a foreigner and for him, one thing is important, which is his parents living with him. And he's told that to her. And he's like, and I admired that. He was like, I put that foot down. I'm like, it will be a deal breaker if you are not fine with my parents because I want to support them once they get old and I want them to stay with me. And that is a discussion they had. So she, because coming from a different country, did not understand that concept, but was willing to understand as well. So that's how relationships work. Like people need to understand. If she would have said no, then either he should have been able to bend or he would be like, okay, this doesn't work and you end it, which is again respectful. Like you have to have that communication. You need to know who you are with and that person understands you.
Yeah, that's true. Because probably, unfortunately, not everyone talks about this thing, and sometimes it comes up after marriage, for example. Or some Indian men, I also know the stories. They say, "Okay, now we will live with my family just for a few months, and then we will move somewhere else. Yeah, we will rent a house or apartment, or maybe move to another city." But this day never comes. So. And of course, it's not easy for everyone to stay together and for young family to live like in a big joint family. It's like it's not for everyone. That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I see some. Okay, I see some comments also that people agree with that what we were just discussed. And I think I won't keep you any longer because there were some questions like what is your age difference? I don't know why it was important for someone, and what is documentation to register wedding in India with the foreigner. But that I think it's difficult to say because in every state I think you need different papers. That's what I heard. So you can't say for India which paper do you need to bring with you because. I don't think it's easy to say.
Also, we don't really know that because we didn't get court married in India. Like we did all the legal things in Austria. And our age difference is 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was very important for someone to know that. So I just read all the questions. Yeah, there were maybe some comments I missed because today it was like a lot of comments. I knew that Indian guys would be curious to listen to us. And I see a lot of intercultural couples who joined us today. So it was really nice. And maybe if you have more questions, you can always ask them, I think, under this video or on YouTube when I upload it on YouTube, or you can maybe write directly to Keshav or Nicole if you really want to ask something. I'm sure they would be happy to answer you. So I really wanted to listen to your opinion, and because I don't know what to say to all these Indian guys who are attacking me every day. I'm getting mails. I'm getting messages. Okay, how to approach a foreigner girl? It's my dream. Please help me. I say, how can I help you? I am not really producing girls, foreigner girls, to help everyone. So. And I don't think I always ask, why do you want a foreigner woman? And depends on his reply, I can already judge that if this person should marry a foreigner or not, or if he is serious, if he understands what it is to marry a foreigner. It's not an easy thing. You have to compromise. You have to change yourself maybe in something. So for them, it's just so easy. Okay, she's beautiful. Yeah, I want to marry her. But
I
it's
think
not the case.
a big thing that Indian guys should consider is that we, like us foreigners, we don't want to be sexualized like that. Like being told like, oh God, I really want to marry you because you are white. Like you're so pretty because you're white. Like that's nothing we want to hear. That's not really appealing to us. I mean, it's nice, thank you, but it's just a little creepy. And I think the most important thing to approach any girl, it doesn't matter where that girl is from, is to just treat that girl with respect
Yeah,
and
exactly.
like a human being and not like an object. Like
Yeah.
as girls, we are like as women, we are human beings who have to be treated with respect.
Because
And
sometimes I really feel that a lot of Indian men, they don't have enough respect for women. For example, I'm getting messages, they see that I'm a married woman, and I'm getting messages every day, what is your phone number? I don't know what to reply to that. I never reply, I just ignore. But I'm just telling that according to me, it's not polite. It doesn't show any respect. They see that I'm married and they still dare to ask me, okay, and why should I give them my, and if I say that, okay, I don't give my phone number to anyone, they say, why? Why?
Yeah.
What is wrong with that? Yeah. So they don't even understand what is wrong with that. So it's kind of normal question that I can approach any foreigner woman and ask you for a phone number, and she should give it to me.
no, and the
I
thing
had a
is,
lot of guys texting me on Facebook like, "Hi, I want to be your friend." That is not how you start a conversation with someone. It's not like, "Hi, I want to be your friend." Like that one person, I told him that like I felt very uncomfortable in the conversation, and he wouldn't stop messaging me. He only stopped after I told Keshav to take over, and he was like, "Dude, back off." Like she feels uncomfortable. Like then he stopped, and that's not how you get a white girl
Yeah, they
or
start
any girl at all.
like continuously calling, and you don't reply. And they're so pushy, some of them. They see that I don't reply. That means I don't want to talk. But then they will go again and again. Hello, why you're not replying? I want to talk, please.
Yeah.
And it's like going for hours and hours, and I have to block them. Sorry, but I don't have any other option. Yes, this is really amazing. I don't
yeah.
know why it happened like this, but somehow I feel that they think that Western women are, I don't know, maybe an easy target. They can get them very easily, or what? Because
No,
I
I don't know if they behave the same way with the Indian women. I don't think so.
no, it's a pure. First of all, it's a pure desire for white skin. Like that's the prime goal that I've seen. Like people just want a white person because white is better, and then in my society, I will have a much better looking girlfriend and a wife. Like when my wife will come into my place, she'll be a white person and blah blah blah. Now that's what I've generally seen, especially because I have read comments of people talking to Nicole as well. And Indian people, not Indian, like any, that's a human tendency of coping or saving yourself from whatever you were saying. So they'll always start with hi, hello, what's up? And when he tells the person to back off, then they'll be like, but what's the problem? We are just wanting to say hi, hello. Can we not just do that? But do you do that with everyone? Do you message any random guy on Facebook as a guy? Hi, hello, what's up? No, it's only specifically women. Then there is a motive. Like then there is a bias that's coming in. So that is what I've firstly seen. Apart from that, what I've seen is they, I think, again comes to race. Like if a white person authenticates me or chooses me as a boyfriend, that means I am better. Like I have value. Like a white person has given me the credit of being worthy enough to be a boyfriend. And that kind of gives them that rush probably. So these things are, again, that's why I said like a person needs to go back into their own psyche and be like, why am I liking it? Why is this thing? And if again it originates from white is better, then you have been fooled, you have been tricked, you have been manipulated by marketers.
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
and yeah, so that's what at least I have seen in general.
So you are also facing the same problems, Nicole. I was thinking that maybe I am the only one because I have this type of page for intercultural couples. Maybe I thought maybe I'm the only one who is facing this problem that I'm getting so many messages all the time, so I have to delete blog.
It's not
Actually,
just
my Instagram profile is on private because like I had it on public for a few days, and I got so many new followers and so many people texting me like, "Hi, you're beautiful. Hi, what's your number? Hi, whatever." And like they even started messaging my friends, my white friends. And I was like, that is just too much. That's too weird.
no, but that's what I'm saying. But that's not just white people. My sister gets that. My sister tells me how she's been random guys message, "What's up? Hi, want to be a friend," and she's like my Indian brown. So like that's a general. I don't understand that tendency of just reaching out and making women feel uncomfortable.
But at
And
least one thing that has never happened to me with Indian men that happened to me with white men a lot is like white men tend to send unsolicited dick pics. I have never had that with Indian men. At least that I have to give that to Indian men.
Yeah. No, but it's really annoying. Yeah. So I would close my profile as well. Yeah, it was closed actually before I started like all this my project like talking with intercultural couples, but I can't close it really, otherwise it won't be so attractive anymore. People will not find me easily. But so I have to deal with it. I have to block. I have to receive a lot of messages like with all these requests. Like I'm really like I don't know. I can find girls for everyone. Yeah, and some people they can't even explain me in proper English what they want. So I wonder, do they really need to marry a foreigner if they can't even speak proper language? How they will
Maybe that
communicate
should
with
be
each
the
other?
first step.
I,
Like first step, find
someone
a
was
mean of communication.
yeah, because yesterday someone was telling me, a friend of mine, that there was an American who came to India and she was learning textile in US, and she came to India and she saw a hand weaver um, who could not speak English at all, had no idea what English is, and she fell in love with him. There was no communication, but they just had some kind of connection, and he is now in US on fiance visa, and they're getting married, and she's teaching him English slowly. So there are like very interesting stories that pop up, but
There is hope for everyone.
huh?
Yeah, okay.
There is
My
hope
friend,
for everyone.
yeah, she's also married to Englishman and she hardly speak any English. I asked, how do you communicate? She said, with the dictionary. I said, what? How with the dictionary? So you are sitting in front of each other and you say, okay, sorry, darling, hold on. I need to check how to say it. This is not normal. I think if you really marry someone, you should speak at least one common language. I can't imagine how would I live with someone if I don't speak English. If I speak only Russian, that would be weird. I don't know. For some
Yes,
people, it's not so. Maybe for this American woman, yeah, maybe she will teach him English, yeah. And or for them, it's not important. They don't communicate. Maybe it's also
That's probably a lot of times that's good in a marriage.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I hope Indian men who are really desperate for foreigner women, they learn something from our conversation. It was my intention as well. Yeah, because
Generally, they should open their, not just Indian, like generally men should open their mindset because women are finally realizing their worth. which was suppressed by the societies. And now they are voicing and they will question things. And once whoever you marry, the probability of you finding a wife which is similar to your mother is quite low, because your mother came from a different generation where they were fine being, let's say, housewives, because that's what society told them and they were ready to accept it. Majority, not everyone.
Yeah.
Now it's not the case. So if you're thinking that, oh, I want to be as lucky as my dad to find a wife like my mother, it's probably not going to happen. And the person is probably going to.
Maybe you should get therapy if you think that.
No, not like mother as in being mother. I'm saying personality as a mother. That's what the complex that exists. Okay, people
I
want.
know. You should, like, people should get therapy if they want a wife that's exactly like their mother.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's a very common thing that first of all, men looking something from their mothers in their wives. Yeah, not necessarily look, but that maybe she should cook very well like my mother or something else. Yes, exactly.
But that's the society is not there anymore, right? It's not 1960s, it's not 1970s, it's 2020. Women
Yeah.
want to work and the guy should be fine. And a lot of guys are like, for example, I want a wife, I wanted her to work, and I was like, don't stay at home. And like, if she wanted to stay at home, then probably would be having a different conversation. But luckily, she is of the same mindset, and a lot of women are of that mindset. So,
Yeah.
if
And when I think a lot of women prefer to work now, they don't want to stay at home. Especially young generation, yeah, they're different, yeah, of course.
yeah. So if guys understand that, wonderful. If they don't, then even before asking, I want a wife or even a foreign wife, first do self-work. Work on yourself, become better, open-minded, and then ask that question.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. Yeah, I really hope they will realize that. Maybe some will understand. Yeah, so better not to go for a foreigner wife, better to choose someone from your own society, yeah, and be happy with this person. Nicole, Keshav, I really would love to thank you. It was really nice meeting you today. We had a lovely conversation. I could carry on for hours and hours. I know myself, because it's always interesting for me to hear different opinions. And of course, today I was hosting a couple, so I could hear totally different. Okay, not only one point of view, like from a girl, but also from a man. So it's really interesting. That's why I'm really happy that we got the chance to meet each other today. So, and thanks a lot for your time, because I know I never have short interviews. I'm sorry about that.
That's fine. That's fine. Thank you so much for having us. It was a great experience.
Yes, and it's also great experience for me, because I had only one couple. It was also in the German couple. Yeah, they're also not together at the moment. So guys waiting for his papers to come to Germany. So it was really interesting, and I hope maybe we can meet again. Maybe when you move to USA and you're together, maybe we can discuss some other topics. Maybe I can invite someone else to join us. I think that would be really interesting. And it's really nice to meet you, Nicole, because I never talked to you before, so we didn't get a chance to know each other. Yeah, so it's really nice meeting you. So maybe we can, yes, maybe we can meet in person sometime in USA or in Europe, because I'm living in Europe. So Europe is very small if you ever come. So you are very welcome to Netherlands.
Yes, definitely. We will do it.
Yeah, we like Indian people will just come and knock on your door. We're like, hey, hi.
No, it would be like a nightmare. Don't tell that, yeah. So I will have nightmare today that Indians are knocking at my door and saying, hi, how are you doing? Give me your phone number. No, I hope it won't happen. But anyway, I just really mean it. If you ever come to Netherlands, just to see something else except Amsterdam, I would be very happy to show that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot again, and I would love to wish you, for you, Keshav, a wonderful, let's say, it's morning still for you, a wonderful day ahead, and a wonderful evening for you, Nicole. And I hope that we keep in touch. I would love to continue our communication. So really nice meeting you today. So take care and see you again.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.